welcome back to the Pursuit of Living Well. We're on lesson 3 today and we're cruising through. Thanks for still being here with me today. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do so that you can get these to your email and it's easy for you to follow along and practice these exercises. 2019, we're on day 3 and we're shifting our mindset from fear to love. We're making changes in our life that we want to see, and we're becoming happier, more peaceful people as a result, and experiencing happy, peaceful realities. Not every day is going to be happy and peaceful. Things happen, life happens, and there are things that we need to learn to deal with. And so if you're in that position, these can offer you hope as well. I've been in that position where I questioned my faith and I questioned everything because I was in so much grief over losing my father, over not being able to help my father, over feeling like my life has fallen apart, over my post-traumatic stress disorder. I kept feeling like I was a victim of everything, and I stopped believing for a while. And when I stopped believing, it just kept coming at me. My mentality was not good. It was not positive. It was cynical. I was critical of everything. It just wasn't me. And so I went through the text again after literally nothing could save me from myself. I looked towards relationships. I looked towards my family. I looked towards my solitude, which I no longer appreciated, and I didn't find anything. I didn't find anything that could help me restore myself. When I opened the text again, I started to find that, and people kept coming into my life that were supportive of me getting better, me healing, and I was very appreciative and in awe. And though the Course says that miracles shouldn't inspire awe, they kind of do, because you're just like, wow. But the Course says that you should just be grateful that they are occurring because they're natural to you. So yes, you may be in the process of healing, but use these tools to heal yourself and prepare yourself for the next time something happens. You'll have a better capacity to deal with stress and loss and breakups and sicknesses and the things that happen in life that aren't pretty. Remember, everything's a lesson. Whatever that lesson is, it's trying to make you a better person or bring you closer to God. And I know there's things like life and death, and I've been through it, and it made me question a lot what is on the other side. Where do we go when we die? Are the deceased still in existence somehow, or are they gone forever? And the truth is, I don't know. All I know is that I hurt from the loss. But what I can do that helps me with the loss is I can see the beauty in those people and what they brought to me as a trait of my character. You know, so what we see in others, we're really seeing in ourselves. So when we see the negative in others, I'm seeing failure in myself. I'm seeing that I wasn't capable. I'm seeing these things that are not true and total truth, but that I personally believed in, and weren't in alignment with love, and they weren't giving me a peaceful reality at all. So I chose to stop telling that story of the pain and the agony of what happens, why I had post-traumatic stress disorder, all the negative parts of the story. And I thought to myself, what if I started telling myself the positives that happened, the things that I got to experience in my lifetime before this person passed. And it really opened my eyes, and I cried because I was like crying to that person as if they still existed. Like, I'm so sorry that all I chose to see in you is the negative. I was really seeing the negative in myself, that I couldn't be some hero and save you, that I shouldn't have argued with you all those times. Now you're gone. The truth is, people, that can happen. And you really want to make the best of your relationships with people. And I just saw the beauty in what those people had offered to me, the wisdom that they had offered to me. Even in the struggle, they gave me a source of wisdom and a sense of maturity and a sense of appreciation and new perspectives that I didn't have before. So even a sad story doesn't have to be a sad story. You can make something of it. Let's change our mind. Today we are going through lesson number 3, and from the text we'll be talking about atonement and miracles. Atonement really means reparation. So we're talking about reparation of the mind here so that we can experience the miracle. What happens on the other side of fear? As you share my unwillingness to accept error in yourself, as you accept the Creator's unwillingness to accept any error in you and others, you must join the great crusade to correct it. Listen to my voice, learn to undo error, and act to correct it. When you start meditating consistently, you realize that the voice in your mind starts to be a little nicer. This is about self-love. That's how we learn love, is we learn to love ourselves, and we atone for these errors and these flaws that we believe that we have. We are human. We're so imperfect. We're so flawed. We're here to learn. We're here to learn, and we're here to evolve. For all these things that we don't understand, maybe one day we will. At least that's what we can hope for. What else are we here for? To grow in our career so that we can die and it didn't matter? To have a loving relationship because that's all that matters, is your intimacy, because that brings you a sense of pride in yourself, a sense of peace. These things are not everlasting and they're not going to go with you. But what will go with you is whatever that is that happens after. I don't really believe that we die and our energy dissipates, because as we discussed, energy is frequency, and we're vibrating in an energy right now that to die, your energy is doing something. It's doing something. It's not inexistent anymore. Like a star, a supernova. It's born, it dies, and it's reborn. I don't know if that's karmic. I don't know if we show up again in other lives. If you believe that, whatever you believe is totally fine. As long as you know that we are here to heal and we're here to atone for the imperfections we see in ourselves, the lack of love we see within ourselves. And our realities will reflect that back to you. So don't worry. You don't have to go hunting. Stop talking as much and start listening. Start listening to how you feel to certain things that people say and how you react to certain things that people do or that happen. And you realize right then, where's my energy? Where are my thoughts? Boom. I need to shift that. In my meditation, I take that with me and I say, where did this come from? Where did this attitude come from? Where did this thought, this perception come from? And most likely it came from somewhere in my past that I picked it up. And that sometimes was a painful situation. And so I developed this cynical idea, or it was who knows, anything that could have brought this attitude about, you can go into your meditation, you can take yourself back to that place, and you can choose to see it differently. And as you atone in the past, you release the future. You open yourself up in the present to have a new experience with your life, because you are no longer ruled by that subconscious mentality that you had before. The power to work miracles belongs to you. I will provide the opportunities to do them, but you must be ready and willing. Doing them will bring conviction in the ability, because conviction comes through accomplishment. The ability is the potential, the achievement is its expression, and the atonement, which is the natural profession of the children of God, is the purpose. The natural profession of the children of God is to heal. To heal. To perceive with love. Miracles, you create them. That's how we're creators. And how we are showing up, where we are on our stage of evolution, we can look in our reality. How happy are you in your reality? How happy are you in your relationships? How much chaos is in your life? Is your life in line with your values, with your morals? Are you self-sacrificing? Ask yourself these questions when you see what's being reflected back to you in your life. All this needs to be healed. That's your profession. Why is that your profession? Because God wants you, the universe wants you to vibrate at the level of love and experience the most joyful, peaceful, harmonious experience that you can. That's what it wants. That's what the vibration is trying to achieve here. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Take the elevator. You are the work of God. You're the work of the universe. You're the work of whatever created you. And His work, that work, is holy, as in one, lovable, and wholly loving. So it's wholly lovable and wholly loving. It's totally lovable and totally loving. All it knows is love. We perceive other things, and so we become unloving, or we believe we're unworthy of love. These things are not true, because God wouldn't create something that's unworthy of love. Okay, you may be thinking about someone who's done something very bad, and they are unworthy of love. Well, to that we'll have to turn to psychology, and why we're not taught psychology at earlier ages, why we're not provided with counselors and mediators at early ages to help us deal with the things that make us lose our mind and do really bad things. So we can punish someone, and we can sit there and we can say, you're the absolute worst person in the world, or we can try to correct it and prevent it. So start thinking about maybe how you can do that. You know, maybe if you volunteer for little boys and little girls, and you see the way that they're acting is acting out, maybe from this you'll learn something to offer them, something to share that, you know, exactly what you're learning now. We need to start with those generations, because they're the ones that are going to be ruling when you are old and in a wheelchair and feeling like you have a lot less power and youth than you have now, which isn't necessarily true, but in reality, our reality, it is true. So take care of those younger generations. The forgiven are the means of the atonement. Being filled with spirit, they forgive in return. Those who are released must join in releasing their brothers, for this is the plan of the atonement. So if you want forgiveness from your Creator, you need to learn how to first give forgiveness yourself. If you want to be forgiven, you have to give forgiveness. What you give is also what you receive. So forgiveness is not always about the other person. It's not that they didn't do anything to hurt you. It's about that other person's own evolution. It's also about the lesson that you need to learn here. Whether it's get in the elevator and get some better relationships to surround you with, or just see this person is not completely evolved in maturity and dismiss it. Don't hold on to guilt and blame. That's the meaning of forgiveness. And when you do, think about forgiveness as a light, just as love is a light. And when you're forgiven, your light brightens. And when we walk on our path and we come across these shadows that we point blame to, well, your light dims because now you're in the path of shadows that you've created. When if you forgive them, you light them up. Maybe not in their own minds, but in yours. You're lighting up your way. And when there's more light, we can see more. Our perspective is open to more. That's forgiveness and the reasons why we want to forgive. Because forgiveness is challenging. It's very challenging. Lesson 3, again to be practiced twice a day. I do not understand anything I see in this room. So we went from nothing I see in this room means anything to I have given everything I see in this room all the meaning that it has, to I do not understand anything that I see in this room. And truly we don't. What is it all here for? We can point to these simple little objects and we can say I don't understand it, when really you're like, that's a plant and I understand that it's a plant and it gives off oxygen and this and that. But when you think about totally, I don't understand what all of this is for, you become vulnerable to a truth in what is closer to you and developing an understanding for it. Think about your relationships, for example. You don't know what those are for. You're learning what those are for. Your experience, you don't know what it's for. You're learning what that's for. Later on, we'll learn that our thoughts and objects are not unequal. They are the same. But for now, we're going to talk about objects, just to engrave the habit, the thought, in our minds. Apply this idea in the same way as the previous ones without making distinctions of any kind. Whatever you see becomes a proper subject for applying the idea. Some of the things you see may have emotionally charged meaning for you. Try to lay such feelings aside and merely use these things exactly as you would anything else. It's good to notice what your emotions are, but we're going to put them aside. Take them on later in your meditation if you want to know where these emotions are coming from, as I mentioned in the last video. The point of the exercises is to help you clear your mind of all past associations, to see things exactly as they appear to you now, and to realize how little you really understand about them. We're all students here. We're all evolving and we're always going to be. When we think we know everything, boom, we hit that next elevator of an entire experience in which we know nothing of. So always be humble here. This is not about a course in I know it all now, and something to pride yourself on. Something that we will always be learning is something to humble yourself with. It is therefore essential that you keep a perfectly open mind with these exercises, unhampered by judgment, and selecting the things to which the idea for the day is to be applied. Lesson 3 for today, guys. This was a very long video, but I'm not going to worry about the time length of these because anyone who's interested in learning these courses, I'm going to explain to you the course. And with reading you a couple pages, they're going to be in line with each of the lessons throughout the year. because there's 365 lessons and there's twice as many pages in the text. So there's a few different things to understand here. So if you're just here I don't know, if you're not here to grasp this idea and really desire to make changes to strengthen your faith, to improve your relationships and your relationship with yourself, and to learn to be a better creator in your life, then you're at the right place. And thank you. I'll see you next time for lesson 4.